A Plaguelands Media production.
Hey everyone, this is Hugh from Plaguelands Media, wishing you all some holiday cheer, or holiday cheers, I should say. Now, today I am going to bring you a graphic novel that I backed on Kickstarter. I thought the premise sounded interesting. It was kind of right up my alley, so I thought, why the fuck not? Let's just back it and see what happens. It arrived last week, and that is Bearskin. Okay, on the back of the book, there is a murderous madman loose in the small town of Grantsville, West Virginia. Unfortunately for the townsfolk, there may be something even worse roaming the streets at night. How can you not love a fucking premise like that? I bought it, I read it in one sitting, and absolutely fell in love with this. So, huge spoilers for this one, but I highly recommend you try and get your hands on this. It is well worth it just for the art alone. Here is the next episode of So this is Bearskin. I didn't know what to make of this. The only reason I backed it was because the story sounded intriguing. This arrived on Thursday, so I've read it. I just read it in one sitting because it was that good. So let's get straight into it. We have some promo stuff from Kickstarter signed by the artist and author. We have Spearfinger, welcome to Grantsville. We have another bookmark. And we have a Bearskin poster. Okay. What the fuck is Bearskin? So we start in a diner. There is a large man. The waitress calls him a stranger, but he insists that he's not a stranger. He goes into the bathroom. A kid sees him go in there, and when he comes out, he's in a bearskin costume, wielding an axe, and then he proceeds to just slaughter the people in the diner. We then cut to a cop who is sleeping with a woman, and her daughter wakes them up because she's had a nightmare. She believes there's something in her closet. The woman gets angry at this, but the cop gets a call that he has to go to the diner right away. The woman, of course, believes the reason the cop is leaving is because of her daughter. He goes to the diner. We find out that he's on kind of bad terms with the sheriff, and he's in danger of losing his job, basically. And at the diner, they talk about all the people that were killed, and there's one witness that informs them that there's kind of a man in a bear suit kind of doing this. The man in the bear suit drives into Grantsville, population 527, so a very, very, very small town. And he goes to a house, which happens to be the house of the woman who was sleeping with the cop. He breaks in, goes to the daughter's room, opens the closet looking for something, does not harm the woman or the daughter, and ends up leaving. He goes across the street, and we find out that the person living in the house across the street is known to him, won't open the door for him, just kind of sits there. At this point, the cops pull up. They've hunted him down, and they tell him to just drop the weapon and come with us quietly. The man in the bear suit, who, by the way, is named Andrew, refuses this as more cops pull up, and he punches out the main cop that was telling him to freeze, and then the other cops kind of jump him, and they beat the living shit out of him, finally managing to arrest him. We then cut to a hospital where a new nurse at the hospital is sitting next to an elderly man who is dying. This elderly man's family have not shown up. One of the other nurses compliments her that she's there every day, and the new nurse says, I can't bear to see him go through his final moments alone. So the old nurse leaves, and the new nurse stays there, and then the man talks to her and kind of thanks her, and then turns into this disgusting, grotesque creature, which ends up killing her, and the old nurse just kind of stares blankly as this happens, and that is the end of chapter 1. What the fuck is going on in this town? So Andrew is in jail, and he's talking to the cop that is kind of designated to watch him. He's letting the cop know that he knows what the cop is, what's going on. The cop doesn't respond to any of this. And then the sheriff and the cop on bad terms with the sheriff kind of come in. And the sheriff just wants to get the interrogation kind of over with, get it done. He knows who Andrew is, and he knows Andrew's past. We then cut to the mall where the mother and daughter are shopping, the supermarket, sorry, where the mother and daughter are shopping. The daughter says that one of the cashiers is acting weird. The mother gets angry at her for kind of being like that. They get into a bit of an argument. And then the mother tells the daughter, go home, you're going to be babysat, and I've got some errands to run. But the daughter doesn't want the babysitter because she knows there's something wrong with the babysitter, but the mother is like, whatever. We find out that the cop that was sleeping with the mother is married, and that they are looking after the mother's mother, basically. In the interrogation room, we find out that Andrew apparently killed his parents when he was a kid and had grown up in the town, but then was moved to a psychiatric hospital where they don't know if he was released or if he escaped. Andrew recounts the story of what happened when he was a kid. There was a monster in his closet that wouldn't stop talking to him, and that it ultimately killed his parents. He didn't do anything, but the cops don't believe him, of course. The supermarket where the mother and daughter were shopping at, the cops are called there because something has happened, and they get there to find another massacre, and they are attacked by a monster. Some of the cops are killed, as you can see, and the sheriff hastily retreats and goes back to his car and basically tells the other cop, we've got to get out of here. The other cop turns into a monster and kills the sheriff. So now we've got monsters all over this town. The mother has gone to the police station to see her boyfriend, the black cop who is having the affair, and the other cops have started to turn into monsters, so she runs into the police station and tries to lock the door. The daughter, who is being babysat by the old woman has turned into a monster, so she freaks out. The guy in the bearskin, Andrew, tells the mother, listen, I know what's going on. I can help you. She's like, if I free you, can you rescue my daughter? He's like, yeah, okay. The monster busts in, and Bearskin gets his stuff back and ends up killing it, ending chapter 2. We move on to chapter 3. Now, chapter 3 has Bearskin walking through town. Sorry, Andrew. I just like calling him Bearskin because it's a fucking cool name. Walking through the town, being followed by 2 police cars. One of them has a cop in it, and the other one has the mother and her boyfriend in it. Every so often, he stops to slash car tires under the assumption that he doesn't want any monsters to leave town. So he trudges through. They find a ruined bus that has been kind of overturned and is full of kids. So they go to the bus that's being attacked by monsters. Bearskin does his thing and kills them all. And they help the kids kind of escape and get into the back of the police car where they'll be protected. And Bearskin keeps going to the house where the mother and daughter live, which we find out is his old house. So he used to live there. That's why there's a history. The cop, the boyfriend of the woman, ditches them in order to go back to his own home to make sure his wife and mother-in-law are okay. He finds his mother-in-law and she's turned into a monster, and his wife turns into a monster as well and is about to kill him. And he believes this is because he had an affair, so he kind of resigns himself to dying as the monster kills him. The woman can't believe that her boyfriend ran off like that. She's still kind of super upset about it. She manages to get home, finds her daughter alive, but the daughter tells her what's happened. She's about to be killed by the babysitter that is now a monster, and Bearskin ends up coming in and just slaughtering it. At this point, they get the kids into a van, and Bearskin heads across the street to see his uncle. We find out that his uncle was the old man across the street. His uncle was the only one that believed him when he talked about the monsters. So this is rather quite heartbreaking that he has to kind of kill his own uncle here. But they fight, and he ends up victorious. He gets in the van. Now, the reason this is all happening is because he can see who will become monsters and who won't. So he leaves the adults and he takes the kids off in the van. The kids don't really understand this, but the adults actually do to an extent. And he drives off, leaving them alone in this town that is now full of monsters. In the epilogue, we find out he's come back to town, and there's kind of no one left, so to speak, but he does find a flyer that a man was tacking up on a board for a circus, a Monday's Fair kind of circus. And that is the story of Bearskin, a fantastic horror graphic novel, I should say, about a man that many believe to be a psychopath who can actually see monsters. Done before, done really well here. Thoroughly enjoyed it. We do get Kids with Claws, a little end comic. Now, at this point, Bearskin, still has the children with him, but he's a little bit pissed that they're not pulling their weight, so to speak. So he tells them they have to become useful. So we have him fighting a monster, and then 3 weeks earlier, the kids are still scared, and he tells them, you can't be scared. Use the fear. Basically, just use it to help you. And the kids all take this to heart, so that when he's fighting the monsters in a town, the kids are ready, and they've all created little bear costumes. They got weapons. They go out, they hack the monster to pieces, and Bearskin says it's a good start. Then we have a little bit of backstory about this character Andrew staying in the Preston Care Psychiatric Hospital, and Dr. Alison Shuram says that one of the other doctors has given him a bear suit. I don't think that's appropriate. Now, the whole bear thing comes from him having a teddy bear to protect him as a kid. So that's where that comes from. And she's sending this to the head of the Preston Care Psychiatric Hospital. And the head of the psychiatric hospital responds to this email by basically saying he's been released thanks to your hard work. Kind of an ominous ending. And then we get a closer look at a tarot deck card, because the artist is making a tarot deck using these characters. We have some character creation pictures. And then we have some thanking the backers. I always love this with a Kickstarter. There's my name right there. And that is Bearskin. Overall, thoroughly enjoyed this. It reminded me a lot of Something is Killing the Children, but I love the fact that we don't really know what's going on until the second and third chapters. So that first chapter is a fucking eye-opener. Really, really cool. There you have it. Absolutely fantastic. So glad I backed this on Kickstarter. If and when it becomes commercial, highly recommend you pick it up. Art is great. Writing is great. All in all, a fantastic graphic novel. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Of course, hit the notification button so you don't miss any of my fantastic content. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Ian Van Gamet, fantastic artist. So there you have it. But most importantly, of course, this is Christmas Eve when I'm recording this. So have a fantastic rest of your holiday. Stay safe. Have fun. Drink lots. But most importantly, and I cannot stress this enough, read a merry fucking Christmas book, people.